Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Prep Talk. I'm Russ Robinson, voice of the Jackson Prep Patriots. We have a really good show tonight. A lot of different pieces, and a tip of the hat to Bobby Gross and his JPTV crew that is putting these shows together. They've got pieces tonight with Coach Goodwin. Also, we'll take a look at some of the facilities here at Jackson Prep, and even have a piece on the Jackson Prep van. So a lot to get to. I'll be talking with Rusty Burke here in just a moment, who's been around a long time here at Prep and doing a great job coaching this football team. Last Friday night was a little wet, to say the least. As a matter of fact, this is Tuesday, and our equipment still isn't dry. So it's sitting outside in the sun today. And, of course, we had the late start. And we look up on the scoreboard and we're down 9-7. And then we look up on the scoreboard and we're way ahead. Now, it was a good football game. Boy, Lake ran the ball well. Owen ran the ball well. Paxton threw the ball well. Defense played extremely well. And I was really impressed with the fact that the field, which took a monsoon of rain, didn't tear anywhere that I could see. And so it made for a good football game. Didn't rain during the game. What's up with that? A monsoon before the game, it rained after the game, but during the game, no rain. And at the end of the night, Jackson Prep winds up 4-0 by beating the Raiders of Lamar by a score of 44-9. Good win for the Patriots. And this week, up on tap is Park Lane, the kind of new edition of Park Lane. They not only can throw, they can run, they can do a lot of different things. You'll hear Rusty Burke talk about him for a little bit, but this isn't your mama's Park Lane. These guys are shaping up under Ron Rushing to be a good football team. But before we get to that, we got a lot to get to here on Prep Talk, so keep it right here. Prep Talk continues in a moment.
There are all kinds of letters we need to remember, like ABC, ESPN. But here are some letters you need to remember as well. GAF. That is the best roofing products on the market today, and that's why David Wilbanks and Elite Roofing use GAF. When you deal with Elite Roofing, you know you're receiving the best product, best installation, and best warranty in the market. Call Elite Roofing at 601-856-9426. So when it comes to your roof, you are the letters ABC.
Southern Ag Credit has been financing life outside the city limits for over a century. Whether it's helping families own land they can grow with, or farmers manage the land they grow on, Southern Ag Credit specializes in financing life outdoors. Let us finance your rural dream. Visit us online at southernagcredit.com.
Jennifer Mooneyham and the staff at For the Family Healthcare provide personalized healthcare for all ages in a comfortable environment. With a new address at 112 Lake Vista Place in Brandon near Community Place Retirement Home, it is convenient to residents in both Madison and Rankin counties. Health services include anything from wellness checks to the treatment of acute and chronic illnesses. Visit For the Family Healthcare for all of your healthcare needs. For the Family Healthcare, 112 Lake Vista Place, Brandon, Mississippi.
DeRogue includes an in-store support of clothing, sportswear, and furnishings. They also provide made-to-measure services for suits, sport coats, pants, and shirting. They have 3 in-house tailors to provide any alterations suitable for your clothing needs.
DeRogue has been dressing men and families in Jackson for over 50 years. Owned by a Prep graduate, DeRogue supports Jackson Prep. Come by today and see the latest trends.
Located at 4450 I-55 North, Jackson, or visit our website at therogue.com.
Welcome back to Prep Talk as we get ready for the Park Lane Pioneers, and this young man sitting to my right, seems like we've been here 20 years. You've been here longer than I have. So, Rusty Burke, of course, on the coaching staff here at Jackson Prep. You know, Rusty, this isn't your first rodeo this year.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, you've been around here a long time. Change is a part of life.
Right.
And when you get into high school football, there's a lot of change from year to year.
Oh, yeah.
They may ask you to coach this year opposed to what you coached this year.
Right.
You may spend more time training in preventive medicine than you do with linebacker. You know,
Right.
it all changes up. And now we've got, our seniors have, the third head coach in 3 years. Talk to me about the attitude of change.
Well, with change as the kids do this, it's hard for in high school. You have one guy that comes in, you run one type of offense. As juniors, they ran a little bit different type of, or different calls, I guess what you would say that. Now they've come in and now it's a whole different call system. It's new wordings and all that. And that can be very confusing to some kids. Our kids have taken it really well. It's, they've done well with knowing what to do, what it's called. Hey, this is just like what we ran last year. This is just like what we ran as sophomores. It's just a different wording. So they have done good learning the changes. But this is going to help them later in life. I mean, we know we want them to be great with football right now. But this is what happens. You know, you get in, boss is there one time, and then a different boss comes in. And so this has been good for them because I tell you what it does. It gets them to focus more. Now, if you know the same routine over and over again, you kind of maybe lose a little bit of focus. This year, they're really trying to focus in, and so far we've been doing pretty good with it.
What do you do if you have an athlete who's really pretty good, but he can't pick up these changes?
Well, then you try to simplify it for that particular athlete. If it's something that was a simple call when he was a sophomore, and then the wording is just a little bit different now, and he doesn't understand that, you got to kind of maybe put it to him a little bit more. It would be just like you studying and knowing your math class as a sophomore. When you get to your senior math and it's harder, well, you got to probably study a little more. You got to hear it a little bit more. So with these guys, they just got to listen a little bit better, study these plays a little bit more, and that's just part of the new football life that we have here now.
But you would have some, Rusty, that would say it still comes down to X's and O's. Who can block, who can tackle, who can run, who can pass, who can catch.
Right. It still comes down to a man on a man and one guy whipping another guy. So, in the end, if it's blocking, it may be a different blocking scheme, but you still have to block that guy and win that. If you're covering a guy or if you're on the offense, you got to get open. It's still that same process. So football in that sense has never changed. It's one guy.
Never will it?
No, and one guy's got to beat another guy, and the guy who wins the most will usually win the games.
You know, you've come into seasons where you knew what you had, and you had a lot of talent, had a running back by the name of Ely. You know, feel pretty good about that. Then you've come into seasons where you didn't know hardly anything about what you had because you had a lot of seniors playing ahead of what do we come into this year? I know we've got some answers to our questions at quarterback. Paxton having a great year.
Right.
But we still have questions about other positions.
Right. Well, we're at the running back. We had both guys were here last year. Owen Ishii,
Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah, the Thunder and Lightning. Yeah, and Lake Womack. So both of them we had here last year. So that's a good thing. They develop a little bit more. They get to run the ball when they were a little bit younger, and that helps them out. And you can see both of them were better at the last game that we played than they were maybe at the very first game of the year.
Absolutely.
Right. And then you have sophomores like Cole Gideon, who's starting to come up. Ford Footboy, who's starting to get more and more reps. And you get those through practice. And then you build your confidence is what they're doing. So like at the running back position, we're seeing more and more that they're getting confidence. They're understanding the offense. And that's kind of usual. You want to be able to go through that whole season. And by the end, you know, they're super confident. The offense is running good. So when you have somebody that's new or somebody that's learning the new system, that's what you have. Receivers can be the same way. Some of these guys are starting for the first time, but Will Upton was in there last year. William Laird was in there last year. So, but take William Walker. He's kind of coming in. He didn't play last year. He's coming back this year. So he's got a whole new variety of things that he's got to learn.
He's playing on both sides.
And he's having to play on both sides. So when you have these guys and they're developing, you see them getting better every single week. And so when we're kind of wondering what they were going to be like at the first of the game, we're in game 4, fixing to go into game 5. We're a lot better now. And so as we get going, I think they'll even improve later in the season.
You mentioned Thunder and Lightning, and of course we're talking about Womack and Ishii. I'm interested in number of carries because at the beginning of the season, we're playing teams where we don't even need those guys in the second half. So how do you know which one gets the number of carries, or is that even does the game dictate it?
Well, I think the game kind of dictates it, and what you want to do is make sure you're running those guys in so that they're fully. I say they wouldn't be fully rested, but they get their breaks.
Legs get a little break.
Legs get a little break. And what you want to do is, in that offensive scheme, you're running the ball, you're kind of wearing them down, you're doing
Right.
that. By the time you get to the middle of the third quarter, you're getting the middle of the fourth quarter, these guys' legs may be a little bit fresher than if you just had one back all the time carrying the majority of the time and the other one just backing him up. So one of them starts the game or begins the game, and the other one's coming in after maybe the second or third series, depending on, how much they've run, what they've been doing and everything.
Well, it's a
and you'll
different running style altogether.
Right, and so you kind of look at it and say, okay, how many carries did each one get? It's not saying that one's going to get more carries because of this. It's just the way kind of the game was. Hey, we want to put him in. We're trying to maybe run this type of offense. We're trying to run this type during this time. So it's not saying one's better than the other. It's just one may have more carries one game, the other one may have more carries in the other game. But in the very end, the whole thing is winning that game. Winning that
Doesn't
game
matter
no
who's
matter
running
what.
the ball.
That's right.
Every year we talk about this, that there's one, maybe two, maybe three kids that were on the team, and all of a sudden you see these kids coming, and they're getting better. And at the end of the season, they're out there playing.
Right.
They just come out of nowhere
Right.
and do well. Do we have a couple of candidates this year?
Well, we have, you have all those sophomores that come out, and the game's a lot different when you're in junior high. And then when you come into high school, they see it in practice. It's so much faster just in a
speed of the
practice.
game,
Right.
yeah.
And then you go through a scrimmage, and they're looking at it and the speed of the game. But they start to develop. You're looking at a Cole Gideon, who I think will come up and be part of that running back group. He's looking good and getting better every day in practice, and he's also playing some linebacker position, so he's understanding that and the speed of the game that way. You have I'm trying to think of some of the different receivers that are
Wayne
coming
Crosby
up.
got in some the other night.
So different players like that are coming up, and it just takes a little bit of time. If you go back and look at some of the history of some of our guys with that, there were some of the guys that just played scout team in the very beginning and then played vital roles in the state championship games as younger people.
Yes.
And then you have some of that are juniors that are starting in a role that may be scout team, and the more they get to playing, because remember, when they play scout team, they're playing against our number ones, so they get a lot better. And then in the very end, you're able to trust them. You can put them back there in a situation where it's going to count, and they're going to make the plays.
Well, this week it's Park Lane, and it's here, another home game. It's been kind of nice this year.
It has been
all
nice,
these home
yes.
games. Park Lane comes in as a team that really hasn't identified itself as to what it does best, but they've got some new pieces to this puzzle over there that make them better.
Oh yeah, they are coming in. Coach Ron Rushing, has done a great job down there, building up this team. Used to go back into maybe 17, 18, they just ran the ball with big guys. Well, now they're not quite as big on the front as they have been, but now they've got more skill guys on the outside. So they got a good quarterback in there, number one. You'll see him. He throws the ball really well, runs the ball really well, so he's a dual threat for us in that part. Got some good wide receivers, the Caruth kid, number 16. Yeah, we all know him from basketball.
Right.
He's a very good athlete. Number 22 is a good player for them. But they also have some backs, so they'll run. You'll see a number 20 back there, number 3, and number 5. So they have plenty of backs. So one may run it a couple times. They put a fresh guy in there. So he's really working well with that offense and getting them better. So they do run the ball. They do some RPO. They will throw it. They've got all the skills to do that. And so we're going to have a tough time kind of matching that, trying to have to really play well with them. Defensively, they've usually done about the same thing, but now they're getting some better players in. You got a number 17 is a big linebacker, runs the ball well. Number 31 does well. Number 10, you'll see these guys. They're linebackers and at linemen, so they're getting better at each aspect of the game, and so Park Lane's working their way up to try to be one of those top teams in the 6A.
Well, they have a history of having had good teams back when Paul Caruth and all that group was there. And I thought that it was a great hire for them when they went after Ron Rushing because Ron's been successful at Cathedral and Brookhaven, everywhere he's been.
Right.
But he's taken on a program that he has to build that program.
Yeah.
And that's what he's in the midst of doing right now.
Well, and he's kind of changed up a little bit. They used to go to that big running style and everything, and now he's developed it where they can throw and they can run. So now you can't just concentrate on one aspect of their offense. So he's done a really good job, and we're going to have to really play well Friday night.
Glad to have 7 o'clock games back.
Oh yes, that is. 7:30s are great. We had that rain delay and it was 7:45. We were wondering why everybody was finishing before us.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, the 7 o'clock games are going to be good. The sun may be in our eyes for just a little bit. Sunglasses out for the first couple of series, but it's getting a little bit cooler. We're having some
football season. It's supposed
had
to.
some cooler weather earlier in the week, so looking forward to this. It's football season, and 7 o'clock Friday night, we'll be ready to play.
Rusty Burke, who you always see on the sideline here at Jackson Prep, been here a long time, longer than me, so he's been here a long time. I've been here 20, but we wish you well on Friday night. It's a conference game, and people need to get there early. The pregame show is going to start at 6 o'clock, and then the kickoff will be back to 7 o'clock. Last week, we don't even want to talk about when that ball game started, but hopefully we won't have the rain this week that we had last week, and it'll be the first conference game of the year for Jackson Prep, and that's pretty exciting.
Big.
That's
Yes.
pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
So try to be here if you can. If you can't, you can catch it all on jacksonprep.live and 94.3 FM. We'll be back.
Part of the enjoyment for me is interacting with patients.
I feel like we form a close bond with the patient as they're going through their ailment, their surgery, and their recovery.
As well as the new building, we now have our own physical therapy and our own surgery center.
I think sometimes you take for granted how vulnerable patients are. Enormous amount of trust they're putting in us to do the right thing.
You want the people you're operating on to trust you, you want to become friends with them, and you want them to have a good outcome.
Here at Capital Ortho, we look forward to seeing you and treating you.
Since 1968, Ewing & Ray has been leading the way as the area's premier foundation repair company. With our state-of-the-art equipment, licensed professional engineers, and certified technicians, we are able to ensure the right solution with the best warranty in the business. Whether you have drainage problems, need foundation repair, or need a specialized foundation system installed, for over 50 years, Ewing & Ray is a trusted source to ensure your home or business is safe and stable for years to come. Contact us today by visiting our website or giving us a call.
You haven't had good chicken until you've had Super Chicks. Super Chicks is made with 0 preservatives, 0 phosphates, and 0 dyes. There are many sauce options and a fresh new frozen custard every week. Everything is made 100% cooked to order, so it's very fresh. There's also many fry options such as salt, rosemary pepper, sweet, and Cajun. And don't let me forget the loaded fries. Super Chicks is a great place for prep friends and family to connect after events. And it's so good.
The Tire Depot, with locations on Old Fannin Road in Brandon and on Terry Road in Byram, they're your neighbors and they appreciate your business. More than just a tire store, they offer alignments, brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, shocks, struts, leveling kits, and a whole lot more. They are family owned and operated. All of their techs have 20 years or more of experience. The Tire Depot, owned and operated by a Jackson Prep family. Welcome back to Prep Talk. Go to any high school football game, and one of the biggest assets that a team can have is the cheerleading squad. And here at Jackson Prep, we've got a good one. Sammy Zook is not only the co-captain of this cheerleading squad, she's also on the JPTV crew, which gave her an inside track on talking to the cheerleaders and what it takes to be a Jackson Prep cheerleader. So, without further ado, here is co-captain of the cheerleading squad at Jackson Prep, Sammy Zook.
Oh. Okay. Ah! Oh. Hey, I'm trying to get crunk.
My name is Tracy Mallard. I'm the cheer sponsor at Prep for Varsity. This is my 24th year total to be the cheer sponsor somewhere, but my 10th year at Prep. So I'm at all practices. We have to make sure everything looks like it's supposed to, and so critiquing, making sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to do.
Look alive! If you're a little early on that.
Pep rallies, Patriot Pack, working with the seniors, of course, for the cheer squad. It's a special group. It's a hard group to be a part of, or everybody would do it. And so I feel like the girls that are chosen as varsity cheerleaders each year all come in, and there's just an automatic bond because they all are working for the same goal. We are Jackson Prep! And I just like to be part of that family interaction and getting to watch the girls bond develop, but also just getting a front row seat for it myself. I think a lot of what makes prep special in cheerleading is the tradition. You'll have cheerleaders come back to campus that were cheerleaders many years ago, and they'll still know the fight song, or they'll know all the chants, or they'll know the uniform because they got to wear those same uniforms. I like the tradition and mixing it with the new, and I love that I have a squad that's not scared to do those things. There's always a point in the season, and it happens every year, where it's just like everyone has gotten it. When the whole squad has gelled, it makes me very proud, just because that means that the seniors have worked really hard to get the sophomores where they're supposed to be. And the juniors are instrumental in making those two things bridge together. Favorite pep rally? I think the first pep rally we had this year was just so much fun. It felt like a pep rally that we haven't had in a while, where the tradition was back, the lights were on. We did the cheer spell out with the signs. That was the first time we'd ever brought signs to a pep rally. We had the flags.
Hi, I'm Kennedy Cleveland, and this is my second year as a varsity cheerleader at Prep. I wanted to be a cheerleader because I had an older sister who influenced me. She was a competitive cheerleader, and I looked at my mom and was like, hey, I kind of want to do that. And then obviously it just kind of kept leading on to cheer in junior high and then eventually cheer in senior high. My personal favorite thing about being a prep cheerleader is probably the pep rallies. Dressing up for them is always so fun, and especially when you nail the dance or you nail the cheer, the feeling of like how happy you are is so awesome. Burger Day happens every Thursday. The cheerleaders set up these tables and we feed the football team burgers, Gatorade, and a sweet treat. Usually a football player's mom will bring the burgers, we will bring the sweet treat, and we will make the Gatorade, which has been my personal job for the past 2 years. My favorite part about it is that they're usually extra, and the cheerleaders get the extra burgers and treats.
Hey, I'm Lydia Matthews, one of the Jackson Prep varsity cheerleaders. So right now we're actually setting up our Disney Prep Rally. This week I am Elsa. Last year I was Alice in Wonderland and my dress was so cute. Anyways, what's the time right now?
It is about 7 o'clock.
Alright, well, in about 30 minutes we have practice, not for the pep rally, for our competition.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Patriots!
That was good.
Right now we have Causey and Lucy Taro on the balloon duty, as you can tell right now. The moms have put some cute little gold tassels. They do this every pep rally. They're extremely helpful. We're not sure what we would do without them. It probably would look not very good. We have a cute Once Upon a Time sign over there, and oh, they're also hanging some lights up there, which I'm sure the lights will be off halfway. And so they're putting up some lights, so it'll look extremely good.
Take one.
Mama miss? Yeah.
My name is Mary Morgan Martis, and this is my first year as a varsity cheerleader. I've wanted to be a varsity cheerleader since I was little because my cousin used to do football here, and I'd always watch the cheerleaders. The biggest difference between junior high and varsity cheer is definitely the organization. The busiest day of the week for cheerleaders is definitely Wednesday or Thursday. The summer practices, I would say we dedicate about at least 10 hours a day. We would start out at SA, and then we would all go eat lunch as a cheer team, and we'd come to prep and work on dances and paint, lots of signs. So pullouts are something we do on Wednesdays, and you will get in a group of 4 or 5, and you cheer or do the dance in front of captain and co-captain, your fellow teammates, and SEMO. So if you mess up in pullouts, they will give you corrections, but if you don't know it, you might get sacked. I can't tell you what TZ means.
My name is Marley Robertson. I am Elam Robertson, Jackson Prep captain's mom. I was a Jackson Prep cheerleader all the way through high school, 7th through 12th. I was captain my senior year. A Jackson Prep cheerleader is hardworking, determined, pretty much embodies the whole school and the student body, and breathes life into Jackson Prep. Cheer is very time consuming, and I don't think that a lot of the people realize how much the cheerleaders and their parents do and how much time they spend working really for the whole school. On Sundays they print off signs and they have them hung on Monday, and then they practice all week. Thursday they have burger day, and then they run through the pep rally, and then they have pep rally set up. And Friday morning, pep rally showtime, and they start all over again Friday night after the ball game. A cheerleader's mom does a lot. We fund a lot that goes on around the school, work tirelessly, endlessly, all the time to make sure that everything is done from setup to player treats, just to making sure the girls are here and working. And we spend a lot of times doing balloons on Wednesdays, and we do balloons on Fridays, early morning before the pep rally. And then we meet again at 5 Friday before the ball game and set up balloons. We're kind of the people in the background that you don't really always see, but the cheer moms do a whole lot out here.
A Jackson Prep varsity cheerleader is a leader of the school.
A Jackson Prep varsity cheerleader is inspiring.
Is encouraging.
A friend.
Energetic.
A Jackson Prep varsity cheerleader is confident.
Is caring.
Creative. Kind.
A Jackson Prep varsity cheerleader is bold. Is cheerful.
Good teammate.
Hardworking. Is wholesome.
Jackson Prep varsity cheerleader is determined.
Visit Eric Stallworth at Acura of Jackson, 828 Adcock Street, Ridgeland, Mississippi, 601-978-2228.
Sometimes opportunities begin where the road ends, where pavement fades to gravel and the sounds of the city scatter in the breeze. This is life outside the city limits, made possible by financing from Southern Ag Credit. From farmstead to homestead and everything in between. Apply for your rural loan today at southernagcredit.com.
Hi, Chuck Smith here from Smith Brothers Body Shop. Smith Brothers has been proudly serving the Jackson metro area since 1946. We consider you to be our friend to ensure the best experience possible. If you've chosen a body shop in the past because they were right around the corner and had a bad experience, or you've been treated poorly elsewhere, come see what a difference quality service can make at Smith Brothers Body Shop. Call us at 601-353-5217. At Smith Brothers, you're more than a number. Smith Brothers Body Shop, the best from us to you.
Visit your local Dunkin' at 403 Riverwind Drive in Pearl.
Welcome back to this edition of Prep Talk as we get ready for the Park Lane Pioneers. Not only is it a home game, not only does it start at 7 o'clock, but it is a conference game. Yes, we're getting to the time of year that we get into conference. Now, we'll bounce out for a week or two, but we will pretty much be conference the rest of the way. Wilson Cotton took a few minutes out of his schedule and out of Coach Goodwin's schedule to find out a little bit about Coach Doug Goodwin. And here's Wilson's report. He's number 58 on the field, but he's producing tonight.
Coach, what position did you start playing in high school?
Well, when I was a 10th grader, I played defensive back. And then as a junior and senior, I played running back and linebacker.
At that point, did you play college football?
Yeah, I played a little bit. You know, I always knew I wanted to be a coach, so you know, I went to Auburn and played a couple of years, had an ACL injury, and did away with football there as far as playing went. And my wife and I got married between our junior and sophomore year, and you know, we started working and doing that kind of thing. So I started volunteer coaching, you know, on the side, and then when I left Auburn, I took an assistant coach's job at Lynette High School, which is just down the road from Auburn. For a good bit, I was assistant coach for 2 years at Lynette, and then we went to Marion County High School, first head job, little 1A school, stayed there for 6 years. From there we went to Lineville High School, which is in East Central Alabama, stayed there for 6 years. From there we went to Demopolis High School, which is in Southwest Alabama, and stayed there for 8 years. That's where both our kids graduated from. And from there we went to Russellville High School in Northwest Alabama for 4, and then Homewood High School for 3, and then from there went to Auburn University. The first game I ever coached as a head coach. I'm 24 years old, and our biggest offensive lineman, he's our biggest lineman and our best offensive lineman. After the first series of the game, he comes running off the field and he looks at me and says, "Hey coach, I can't block my man. What do you want me to do?" And so, what do you say? You know,
Yeah.
I said, "Hey, try to hold him or something," you know. So that was my introduction into being a head coach. We didn't have a lot of players. I think we only had 7 players that actually played in Division I over a 27-year period of being a head coach. But we had several guys that played Division II and smaller classes. I went to Auburn. When Coach Malzahn got the job, he called me and asked me to come down there. And, you know, I didn't want to do it right away. So I waited a year, and then I came down the next year, which was in 2014. I started out as a high school relations director, and then the guy who did the NFL left, and I got the NFL responsibilities, and then the player personnel guy left, and I got the walk-on responsibilities, and then the special teams analyst left, so I started doing the special teams. So I had a lot of different hats, and we did camps and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I was very busy, a lot of administrative work and a little bit of coaching work. My first year at Auburn, I got nominated to be in the Alabama High School Sports Hall of Fame by some people at Demopolis High School. High school has to nominate you for you to be eligible. And so I got voted in, and I think I'm the youngest person that's ever been voted into the Hall of Fame in the state of Alabama, so I'm proud of that. I was 51 at the time. And so, you know, we went in with a class of 14, and great honor, proud of it. But it's an honor that's shared with all the players and all the coaches that I worked with throughout the years, because without them, you know, there would be no wins or losses or anything like that. So it was an honor that I shared with a lot of different people. A guy that was the GA for us at Auburn named Blake Gideon, he had been a first-year coordinator at Houston the year before, and he got the coordinator's job at Ole Miss. And so he called me one day and said, "Hey, Coach, you know, this might be a long shot, but would you consider coming over here and helping me out?" and that kind of thing. And so thought it over, retired in Alabama, came over to Ole Miss, double dipped for a year. Great place, a lot of great people, but I decided I want to get back into high school.
The great thing about Coach Goodwin is he's got the experience and the maturity where he knows the game of football. Obviously, you can look at his record and see that where he's been very successful. Experience in the high school level, experience on the college level. And so from a football standpoint and running the program, X's and O's, we knew that he was going to be top notch. But we also knew that he brought a level of maturity with him that was going to create an atmosphere and a culture that our kids were going to really love and buy into and have a great experience.
One thing about football is, you know, everybody assumes that college players are a lot different than high school players, and they're not. You know, people are people, and they all respond to the same type of things and all that kind of. So, you know, there's not a great difference in coaching high school at really good programs and coaching in college. So there's not near as big a difference as people think. The whole time I was in college, guys would ask me all the time, so where can you have the most influence, in high school or college? And obviously it's high school, because you get to be with your guys all year round. You train them in the winter, you're with them in the spring and throughout the summer and the football season. In college, it's a different deal, because you only see your guys during the season, and then you really only see them during meeting time and at practice, unless they come to your office to see you. So your interaction with them is a lot less, and your influence is probably a lot less as well. So, I felt like this is what God wanted me to do, was to get back into high school and hopefully make a difference in young men's lives.
He was in the SEC, and a lot of people just think that's the pinnacle, right? If you're in coaching and that's your career, and you're coaching at that level, then you've made it, and you're where you want to be. And that was not the case for him. He missed high school football, and the biggest reason he missed high school football is because he missed being around the kids, and he missed being able to make an impact, a positive impact on that age of a young man. And so the fact that he is here and he's back into high school football for those reasons, it's the right reason, and we knew it was going to be just a great fit because of that.
There are all kinds of letters we need to remember, like ABC, ESPN. But here are some letters you need to remember as well. GAF. That is the best roofing products on the market today, and that's why David Wilbanks and Elite Roofing use GAF. When you deal with Elite Roofing, you know you're receiving the best product, best installation, and best warranty in the market. Call Elite Roofing at 601-856-9426. So when it comes to your roof, you are the letters
Hello, I'm Jason Womack with Womack Auto Sales in downtown Brandon.
We've been here for 25 years serving the community, and we plan on being here for another 25 years.
Came to Womack in Brandon. I was looking for a Tahoe. Walked in, the folks were good to me. Hey, look how I ended up leaving. New Tahoe.
Womack's Auto Sales helped me finance the truck of my dreams.
Come out and take a look at our new facility and meet our staff.
Take exit 56 to downtown Brandon. And remember, at Womack's, your job is your credit.
At Community Bank, we're always by your side. From keeping your money secured to making payments a breeze.
Hey, do you have a medium in the pantry? Right here. It's $24. Enjoy the show.
And giving you peace of mind when you need it most. So you can get back to enjoying the show. Community Bank, a bank like no other.
16 speakers, 272 horsepower.
Visit Eric Stallworth at Acura of Jackson, 828 Adcock Street, Ridgeland, Mississippi, 601-978-2228.
If you ever go to an away game on the Jackson Prep schedule and you come back to a home game on the Prep schedule, you'll really appreciate the facilities that Jackson Prep has, whether it's football or baseball or basketball, tennis, whatever it is, even a great cross-country course. And these things don't just happen. Bennett Herring of the JPTV class this week caught up with Nick Brewer, who is one of the heads of our facilities, along with Rusty Burke, to talk to them about how these facilities got this way.
I'm here today with Coach Brewer. He is a football coach and also the director of athletic maintenance. Coach Brewer, how long have you been doing this job, and what are some roles that come with it?
I've been the actual director of our head of the athletic maintenance here for the last 4 years, and been actually doing maintenance here for probably about 15 years.
And what are some roles that come with it?
Well, it's maintaining all of our practice fields, maintaining all of our game fields, making sure that we have all of our tennis courts, soccer, softball, baseball field around the edges, and basically all of our grounds, basically from the Manning Center over to the soccer fields.
Okay, and with this position, do you have a schedule that you go based off of, or is it whenever you just go around campus and you figure out what needs to get done, kind of?
Well, we have some schedules for certain things, like when we have to spray the fields, or we put out fertilizer, or like here in a few weeks we're going to be putting out ryegrass on the soccer field, getting ready for fall for the boys season there as well. So there's certain things that we have a schedule for. There's certain things that we'll go around and look at and see, what needs to be done. Like if we have some things like after the flood here just a few weeks ago, we had to go out and do a few more little things that kind of threw us off schedule a little bit. But it really just depends on what we have time to do and then what our schedule is and when we're supposed to do those things.
Okay. And being an assistant football coach, does that affect your ability to maintain all the sports facilities, or is it pretty easy to manage both those positions?
It just really depends on the time of season. During football season, it gets a little bit hectic in doing both jobs. But like I said, you have to manage your time and making sure that you got everything what you need to do. Kind of plan out your days ahead and do certain things here, do certain things there. Like I said, plan and practice but usually when football season's over with, during the winter time, it's not as much maintenance. It's still some stuff that we try to clean up and stuff. And in the springtime, with us doing weights, and then having to do spring, but then most of the time that's when the grass starts growing back again, and we start getting other things going on as well. And then, during the summertime, it's basically, it's basically 7 days a week because grass doesn't take a vacation.
Yeah.
It keeps growing.
Does that mean you have to come in on the weekends usually during the football season?
A lot of times, like I said, we're myself and Coach Burke. Coach Burke helps us out a lot with that as well, and some other coaches there as well. Coach Duncan kind of cuts his field, and Coach Powell does a lot with the softball field as well. So, yeah, but usually like everything else around here, like when we maintain, like I say, we have to go down and check our mowers every so often. We have to maintenance those and maintenance other things as well. So there's a lot of times when we're up here, or I'm up here on Saturdays and sometimes even Sundays, if it's rained during the week or we got something big coming up, there's a lot of times where it's basically we're up here doing something every day.
Awesome. Now I have Coach Burke with me, who is an assistant football coach and also the assistant to maintaining sports fields. Coach Burke, what are some things that you do to keep the fields maintained and help out with Coach Brewer?
Well, Coach Brewer being the head of it, he's in charge of most everything. I try to help Coach Brewer out with a lot of the weed eating, spraying Roundup. My parts are some of the smaller parts. I will help him cut grass every once in a while. He doesn't let me on the real expensive mowers, but he will let me on some of the other mowers. But we got to cut the commons, which are the other grounds that doesn't have to do with the fields that are around the fields. He mainly cuts the fields. Coach Duncan's also one of those that cuts the fields. But my big help is to do whatever little bitty things that he needs to kind of take some of the burden off of him so he can concentrate on a lot of the big stuff.
Do you find yourself coming in a lot in the mornings and doing this, or in the afternoons on the weekends, or does it affect any of your weekends and stuff like that?
During football season, there may be every once in a while that I have to come in and do something because of the week, the way it is. But it's usually small. Like, weed eating is one of those things. I can do some weed eating and maybe spray a little Roundup, and I may not have to worry about it for a couple weeks. But every once in a while when there's a game, if it's softball, if it's soccer, we got to make sure we trim up around the edges and kind of make that place look good so that when other schools come and look at our program, they know who's number one.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. I'm here with Timothy Bennett. He's going to tell me how he maintains the indoor facilities and keeps it looking nice.
First of all, we go to the shop, get the right things that we need, the equipment and everything, and we come back depending on what the job requires. So we get the right thing, tools we need, and we make it happen. The best in the business.
Best in the business. Thank you.
Need me again? Come see me.
As parents, we want our kids to choose the best path. At Jackson Prep, we'll have a community surrounding your child in helping your child have the confidence and skills to not just choose the right path, but to run it. Throughout their life, they'll face endless choices. That doesn't change, but they will.
Ferguson & Associates Architecture is a new generation architectural firm that combines state-of-the-art ideas and solutions with years of experience managing demanding projects. As a full-service architecture firm, Ferguson & Associates provides a complete range of architectural services. They plan, design, and manage the build. From creative concept to ribbon cutting, they're there to ensure your success. Visit their website at fergusonarchitecture.net for more information or contact them directly at 601-607-7933.
Sometimes opportunities begin where the road ends, where pavement fades to gravel and the sounds of the city scatter in the breeze. This is life outside the city limits, made possible by financing from Southern Ag Credit. From farmstead to homestead and everything in between. Apply for your rural loan today at southernagcredit.com.
Jackson Healthcare for Women is Mississippi's premier provider of comprehensive OB/GYN care with extensive experience in the latest surgical techniques and services for women, including Cool Sculpting, Mona Lisa Touch, Ideal Protein, robotic surgery, pelvic floor dysfunction, and more. Our award-winning physicians are accepting new patients and are eager to care for you. Same-day appointments are available. Call us at 601-936-9190 or visit our website to learn more. Jackson Healthcare for Women, inspired by you.
Welcome back to Prep Talk. You know, we have so many segments every week about things that go on at Jackson Prep, and tonight you're seeing facilities, you're talking to coaches, and it's really a very interesting show. Addie Catherine Allen took some time out of her schedule to catch up with Mr. Kincaid and the band and find out what the band's doing these days, how they get their programs together, and all about the band that you see out there on Halftime. So, without further ado, here's Addie.
Today I'm here with Mr. Kincaid, who is the Prep Band Director. Mr. Kincaid, how long have you been working at Prep?
I've been at Prep for 14 years.
All right. What are some benefits and struggles working with people with all ranges of talent?
It's struggles trying to get everybody to produce at the same time. The benefits are everybody's different, and I like different. It's like the big box of crayons with a bunch of different colors.
Yes. What got you involved with the band at Prep?
I taught for a long time, and I didn't quite get the politics of public school. And so when I left, I got another job that I didn't really like. And so my wife encouraged me to come back and teach again. And so I ended up here.
That's amazing. If you have taught at another school, what do you like more about Prep than the other schools?
I like the fact that we are autonomous and we can decide how we'll teach and what materials we'll teach so that they actually correspond with real life, real career,
yes.
How to get into college.
What is your favorite chant that the band does?
I don't have a favorite chant. We just play songs, we play drums, we support the team.
Okay. And lastly, what is your favorite instrument to play?
Saxophone. I'm a saxophone player. I love saxophone, not trombone. And so.
How long have you been playing the saxophone?
Oh, since I was in 6th grade. So
that is awesome.
40 years.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, today I'm here with Will Dungy, who is the drummer captain. Will, how long have you been in the band?
I've been in band probably since like 7th grade. Had a lot of fun, made a lot of memories with it.
What's your favorite thing about the band?
Ooh, favorite thing? So we always go to a band clinic every January, and I love meeting people all throughout MAAS who are in band. It's really fun meeting up with them, seeing our different skills, experiences, stuff like that. And then most of the time, we can like teach each other some like little drum cadences that we each play in our drum lines. We all get to play together, and it's really fun.
What are the challenges that you have been through with the seniors from last year being gone and like taking their positions?
Well, obviously, some big shoes to fill. There's a lot of leadership positions that you just gotta fill in. Because there's a lot of expectations, and then of course everybody else has their own different expectations. You just kind of have to, you got to see what the individual aspects and challenges that each and every person has, because everybody wants to do something different. Everybody wants to be the best in their own aspect. So you kind of have to cater to that, cater to the wants of the drumline. How are we wanting to look? How are we wanting to play? What are some of the goals that we want to achieve within the drumline?
Yes. Mm-hmm. How does it feel to get the student section all hyped up when the game's winning?
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's
That's a good hype right there, because I love, whenever we're playing one of our big cadences like Boogie Down or AC, whenever everybody's chanting, take notes, that is an amazing feeling when everybody's jumping up and down, getting hype.
Yes, I bet it is. How do you cheer up the audience whenever the team is losing to let them still have spirit?
So obviously we try to have some of our winning cadences, like where we're like chanting around, doing some stuff. But then we have cadences, we don't really like to call them losing cadences, but you know, whenever we are losing, that we just got to play through so the student section knows we're still there, and the football team also knows that, hey, you still got a student section behind you, you got people behind you supporting you, we're going through, and we're here to help y'all.
Yes. What is your favorite chant that y'all do?
Oh, favorite chant? Oh, probably Let's Go Boogie Down.
Well, that'll put a wrap on this edition of Jackson Prep Talk. And we want to thank Bobby Gross and his JPTV class for all the hard work that they put into it. It's a new format this year, and a lot of people really like it. Of course, the coaches and I miss the food, but you're getting a lot more insight to what makes up Jackson Prep. And big thanks today for the kids doing a segment with Rusty Burke and about the band, and about the cheerleaders, and about the facilities here, because all of those things make up what Jackson Prep is. And I guarantee you, if you take a couple of road trips this year, you'll come back here and really be thankful of the facilities that we have here at Jackson Prep, because they're second to none. You go out there, that baseball field, and people are still in awe of it. And of course, the football field is going to have a new jumbotron, a new sound system. I mean, just constantly the cross country trails are second to none. Basketball facility second to none. So big thanks to them this week for showing you a little bit about what makes up Jackson Prep. Now, don't forget, the ball game is at home on Friday. It's a 7 o'clock kickoff. We hope. Last week we didn't get that because of all the rain, but we didn't get any rain during the game, and the Prep Patriots walked out of the stadium 4-0 with a 44-9 win. So it wasn't all that bad. But we hope that you come to the game tonight. The reason, it's a conference game. And this isn't your mother's Park Lane. These guys are pretty good. They've added a running attack. They've added a passing attack. And we're understanding that their kicking game is pretty good. They'll have to go quite a ways to beat Luke Harrigal, but it's pretty good. So come on out Friday night. The pregame will start at 6 o'clock. This is all weather permitting, of course. Pregame will start at 6. We'll go to the Southern Ag Credit press box about 20 till 7 to get you caught up on everything about the ball game before we kick it off at 7 o'clock. We will see you right back here next week on Prep Talk.